let's talk about the National League East. And I think that we just went from possibly the best worst place team in all of baseball to possibly the worst, maybe. I don't know. But there's a lot of question marks with the Washington Nationals because that's exactly where they're at. They have brought it down to the nut and bolt. They are rebuilding from the ground up. Obviously, after the Juan Soto trade, horrible news from Steven Strasburg, how he took another setback. I think his career is probably done. What an awful contract after having one of the best contracts of Max Scherzer. It's very unfortunate seeing that happen. Obviously, new ownership is coming in. They got to get it figured out before that happens. One of the things I'm excited, and I'm going to go first for this one, is we just talk about the young guys with Boston and how there's some possibilities to be fun and excited about. I'm going to go on an older guy here, Joey Meneses for the Washington Nationals. 30 years old. What a season he had last year. He became a fun face of this team. 30 years old, had 12 home runs in only 56 games last year. This is his first ever spring training. In his entire career, he's getting it now. He gets this chance to step up. It's like one of those childhood dreams that you think about. It's not the superstar dream, but it's just like rags to riches almost style. And that's really fun to watch. But he's a fun player to watch in itself, too. A very good defensive player, very good baseball player as well. And it's just a really fun storyline. It's probably not one that many will pay attention to, but if you get a chance to watch a Nationals game, you hear that Joey Meneses name, pay attention to him because what a storyline. I'm sure you hear it on the broadcast, but a very fun one indeed.
Yeah, and he's in what looks like a full season coming up, as opposed to just over 200 plate appearances that he got last year. He's projected to have a full season in there and upwards of approaching 30 home runs. And maybe like a couple of wins. Like that's. You know what? I'm with you. And I think that the Nationals have a good mix there of individual performances to watch. They're not going to, as you said, they're going to be a pretty bad team overall, but they do have some individual performances that I think fans should be excited about and should be, running out to buy their jerseys and things like that. And he's one of them. Another one for me is Keibert Ruiz, the 24-year-old catcher, excuse me. Didn't necessarily have the best start to his professional career in LA, but now over in Washington, he kind of started to put things together, and it looks like the second year could be he's not going to be necessarily an MVP candidate or anything like that. But I'm always excited to watch young catchers take over a team, whether it's, leading a pitching staff, which you have to have one first. So maybe we won't necessarily focus on that for him this year, but just how a young catcher comes up and asserts themselves in the roster and on all of that stuff. Like that to me is rather interesting. So he'll be one that I watch for as well.
Yeah, there's some really interesting pitchers coming up in the Nationals organization. Mackenzie Gore had a great year before we traded over to Washington, and Cade Cavalli as well. So a lot of fun names to keep in mind for the Washington Nationals. Be excited about this team. They might not be in the running after the trade deadline. Yes, they'll probably be a 100-loss team once the year is over. However, there's a lot to be excited about, a lot of young talent. If you were a Nationals fan, don't lose hope. There's a lot of things to still be excited about.